Dear students, welcome to Objective English. This is a lecture on listening and notes taking from Soft Skills, a credit course prescribed for BTech first and second sem students. This lecture is a brief approach to listening skills in simplified English. In the previous lecture, we have explored listening skills like active listening, hearing, difference between listening and hearing, traits of a good listener, different modes of listening and signs of active listening, etc. Today we shall focus on listening and notes taking. If you want to go to that lecture, use I button that is given above on the screen. So without wasting time, let's get started. You know that out of 4 communication skills, listening is said to be the most powerful skills, because a bigger part of knowledge is acquired through listening skills. It is therefore education is lecture based. A technocrat or a professional has to listen to lectures, seminars, conference, video conferencings, telephonic discussions, presentations, recorded messages, which requires effective and active listening. Notes taking is an important process of listening and keeping record of lectures in writing for future study and reviews. It allows to have a brief written record of lectures, discussions, meetings, etc. It reflects that the person is an active and involved listener. So there are various reasons for what we have to understand the importance of notes taking. Why notes taking? It is a useful skill. It is mandatory for remembering. It is authentic. It requires listening skills. It is kept for record. You see, it is kept for record, and it requires attention. So for these reasons, notes taking is mandatory on the workplace nowadays. In academics also, notes taking plays an equal role. Now, now it is important to consider the following topics. These are some tips for taking notes, how to take notes. So it is important to consider the following topics while taking the notes. The very first is be ready with adequate material for writing like pen, pencils, rubber, and highlighters, etc. Sit in a place from where you can listen to and see everything clearly without any disturbance. Write the head on side of a sheet of a paper with proper spacing. This allows to reconstruct and edit. Try to write the head in words and maximum in phrases and avoid big sentences and clauses. Use abbreviations and acronyms for big sentences. Use abbreviations and acronyms for big statements. Never use long sentences. Try to use pen instead of a pencil. Different colors may be used to emphasize anything that is important. Except this, you can use any sequence of taking the notes. Means in order to write in a sequence, you may follow different diagrams like these as shown in this slide. Now here there are some guidelines and formatting tips for taking notes. You know, the process of taking notes totally depends on listening, because if a person is poor in listening, he cannot record the notes properly. Therefore, this activity involves participation and attention to what being said and how it is being said. One must focus following points to effective note taking. The very first one is mention the topic, date, and time on the top of the notes. In the starting, try to find what is the purpose of this meeting and try to make a note of it. The third point is use relevant numerals, Roman numerals, alphabet, or any standard numerical to give a sequence to the notes. If the speaker is using high pitch, volume, pause, or repeating something or any topic, consider that the point is important and make a note of it. And try to underline these statements of the speaker. If the speaker writes on the board, for example, sometimes speakers write on the boards or screen while presenting his PPT or his content. So here, make a note of it, as it is again very important. Underline, the another is underline to highlight the important information. The another is leave the line spacing to fill in the missed information. And the another is you can ask a question if you have not understood anything what was important during the meeting. The another is request the speakers to slow down the speed of speaking if possible, if it is possible in only that case. Apart from other communication skills, listening is the most important skill for language acquisition. Reading, speaking, and writing are other important skills, but listening is the most important skill, especially in knowledge acquisition. And here, active listening means listening with a purpose. By active listening, one obtains instructions, directions, pays attention to the detail, solves problems, shares interest, feelings, emotions, etc. Here are some steps how a person can become an effective and active listener. These are methods to improve listening skills, especially for note taking. You know, a good speaker is a good listener. Therefore, listen everything actively, because active listening is the skill that can be acquired and developed with regular practice. To master it, listen everything carefully. The first guideline is the concentration. It must be here in first position. It is concentration that enables the listener to decode the message properly. It is one of the important requirements for active listening. A listener should concentrate his mind on what is being said by the speaker. A listener should concentrate his mind on what is being said by the speaker to decode the message properly. Interest is another important requirement for effective listening. It can be conveyed to a speaker by using verbal and non-verbal means of communication like eye contact, nodding head, smiling, agreeing by saying yes, or verbal signals. This not only gives comprehensive feedback to the speaker, but also boosts up his morale, interest, and confidence. The third important requirement is articulation. It means listen to the speaker and pay attention to his pronunciation and intonation. If possible, repeat after the speaker. The another important requirement is practice. Practice makes a man perfect. So practice is the another important step for effective listening. Train yourself to listen communication, audios, videos, the more you can. If it is a podcast, pause and rewind it to listen again and again. Cram the words and vocabulary which haven't been noticed before. So, by following these tips and these guidelines, one can improve his listening skills and he can improve his notes taking skills. Is enough for this lecture. Keep learning on, because of reading there is no end. Thank you.